regularly scheduled mayor and council meeting for the town of Berlin. It is Monday, September 23rd, 2024. First of all, I apologize for in our executive session. It is almost 7:15. Please join us in a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. This evening for the moment, the family and Tyler Walsh in our thoughts. Yes, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the consent agenda.
I have a couple of corrections to the regular session minutes of 9/9.
Okay.
We do page, I guess it's the page 12 of the packet under council comments, or page 6 of 8, or 12 and 112. So, yeah. The third paragraph there, additionally, Vice President Burrell brought up the EDU. It's notated as parcel 410. He was actually referring to parcel 57.
Thank you.
And there's no other corrections. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Motion by Councilmember Orris to approve the consent agenda with corrections. Second by Vice President Burrell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous and the consent agenda is approved with all council members present. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the swearing in of a new member for the Ethics Commission. And let's see, Mr. Rosenbaum, right? Brannigan. Sorry. Well, how did I get that? I was trying to do it on memory. Hold on. I've got my note. Mr. David Brannigan. I totally messed that up. Come on up front. I don't know how I ended up with Rosenbaum. Sorry, David. Oh, come on now. Come on over this way. Let's see. All right. So when I first started out, I swore in a police officer without asking them to raise their right hand. So let's not make that mistake too this evening. And you can turn and face the audience if you would like. And we'll raise your right hand, and where I leave a blank, you'll insert your name. You don't want me to do that, obviously. And then the next blank will be the board, commission, or committee that you're serving on, and that's the Ethics Commission. So I,
David Brannigan,
do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my
skill and judgment, it's okay, diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of Ethics
execute the
Commissioner
office of Ethics Commissioner
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Thank you. Congratulations. So David comes to us, last mayor and council meeting, we approved you unanimously, the mayor and council did. And with that, you bring some experience from working in the hospital ethics commissions as well.
The Ethics Commission, the Ethics Board of Laurel Regional Hospital became Laurel Medical Center. And then they closed us all out because we were all over 65 and it became a COVID hospital.
Well, we don't have an age requirement here, so we are very appreciative of your service and willingness to serve, so thank you. We do need to sign, right, for him? It's okay, we'll follow up with you on that. Come on over here if you don't mind, we'll do a picture together. Typically, we'll have you sign, but we'll come back and get that.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, it's just one of those evenings. But we appreciate you bearing with us. Thank you, David. All right. Up next is a proclamation. This is something that happened last Friday, and I want to thank the National POW MIA folks for bringing this to our attention. They reached out and asked if we would set a table for it's called the Missing Man Table. You may have seen that out front on Friday, September 20th. With that, our Public Works team, thank you to Jimmy and his folks and Sarah for helping coordinate that to get a table set out front. It is to raise awareness for those that have not made it home. Prisoners of war are those that are missing in action. So I will read the proclamation, even though it was for September 20th. Bless you. So, proclamation of the Mayor and Council of the Town of Berlin recognizing National Prisoners of War and Missing in Action Day. With that, whereas in the United States, National Prisoners of War, POW, and Missing in Action, MIA, Recognition Day is observed on the third Friday in September and honors those who were either prisoners of war or missing in action. And whereas over 1,000 brave Marylanders remain missing in action or unaccounted for, many unrecoverable in some of our deep oceans. Whereas we join a grateful nation in honoring our service members who served through the unimaginable punishments and conditions as prisoners of war. And whereas this day is a reminder the families of our missing endure the cost of war and continued grief long after the last battle. They continue to mourn the pain of unanswered questions. And whereas we recognize the debt we owe our missing in action, we stand with their families as they wait for their loved ones to be brought home. Whereas on National Prisoner of War Recognition Day, and a Missing Man Table will be displayed in honor of our fallen who are still unaccounted for and the families waiting for them to come home. Whereas we make the promise to our POWs and MIAs that you are never forgotten. And then it says, witness this hand and seal for the 20th day of September. With that, I do want to raise awareness to the fact that prior to this Mayor and Council coming together, we did not fly the POW MIA flag at Town Hall. We didn't fly the POW MIA flag at the War Memorial. So we've made a lot of progress in bringing that up to the forefront, something that none of us should ever forget, but this is the first time we did set the Missing Man Table. So thank you for that, Sarah and Jimmy. All right. So with that, we're on to item 4, which are items for approval. And before each one of these are passed or adopted by the Mayor and Council, there is an opportunity for public comment. So with that, we'll start with agenda item 4A, motion 2024-53, authorizing LSL task orders and proceeding with the financial options. Our finance director, Natalie Soleil, and I didn't see
Josh
Josh.
was not able to attend.
So then Natalie's going to rub point on this.
So today in front of you is a motion to approve. Basically, it's a very simple step to discuss that we're seeking approval. Water Resources Department and Finance Department are seeking the approval to move forward with the Water Resources project in stages. So we had a meeting and a short discussion with MD, and basically where we stand right now, we need to submit all the paperwork to their board for the steps and stages of the projects to be approved. But first of all, we need an approval from Mayor and Council. So what we are right now, it's the very beginning of everything, at the very beginning stages. Once the projects are approved, we will be discussing the funding for those projects. And in the previous, we've mentioned that we will be acquire loans from MD to proceed to conduct, and it's over $1 million. I don't have the exact amount right now because potentially it could change as we go with the approval of the projects, but the approximate number is a little bit over $1 million. The loan structure is a little bit different. It's not just a straightforward loan. And I will bring to your attention this at the later terms as I discuss everything with them and get more details. But for right now, the structure of the loan will be as one closing big amount loan and will allow us to move forward with the projects. But it is on reimbursable basis, meaning we will have to upfront the money to proceed with step 1, step 2, step 3, and then receive the reimbursement. At the later terms, we will be able to qualify and submit paperwork for approval for principal forgiveness of half of it. So at the very end, in the future, we should finish all the projects and at half of the cost for the town of Berlin. So overall, with the importance of the projects for the water resources, and Jamie can talk about if he would like to, the importance and the time frame, we're in a good stand-in to apply. The funds are secured and promised to the town of Berlin, so we will not be denied. The process will be a little bit lengthier than just going to bank and draw the money. But overall, it will be a better deal because we will have half of the cost fronted and half of the cost will be covered by MDE. So today's motions is basically for us to agree that we are okay to submit all the paperwork, and DBF will be doing most of it on our behalf.
Thank you. And LSL is lead service line replacement.
Yes.
Well,
Just-
it's
just-
there's multiple
Go
ones.
ahead.
So the first, one of the major ones has to be in by October 16th of 2024. That is our lead service line inventory. That's statewide, so we're competing with however many water systems are in the state. We have to have that in by October 16th.
So it's mandatory, but you gotta compete.
Well, yes.
It's mandatory that we take action.
Okay.
Getting the funding is what will help us get.
We were able to achieve funding for the first phase, for the lead service inventory. We were able to receive about $1 million for the lead service replacement program also.
So we already have tasks 1 and 2 pretty much funded.
We have tasks 1, 2, and 3 funded, commitment. We're only asking to approve at task orders 1. Are we doing all 3 tonight?
We're doing all 3 to proceed with all of them to be submitted. The 1 and 2 will be submitted very shortly for approval from MDE. Once everything is approved on their end, then we will go to loan close it at the later terms, and I will bring more information. for you.
At the point that we have more concrete information about the terms of the loans, then we'll come back with that.
But this is just
We don't have that
basically
right now.
approval.
This is basically to inform you and to, so that there weren't any surprises later that we are pursuing these actions.
Jamie,
Yes, sir.
could you share the action that must be taken in each one of these tasks for the public?
Okay, on task order 1, that's what the state calls for, the lead service line inventory. We have to either, I noticed a lot of people have put on Facebook and stuff like that, why people are out in the front yard digging it up. That is our inventory. We did a lot of our lead service inventory when we also changed out our meters. We're probably 90-95% completed with that.
And the inventory is identifying where there are still lead lines.
Yes, and that was our task order 1, which actually has to be in, like I've said, October 16th of '24. Lead service line replacement, task order 2, the state has told us we can change out, we have to change out from the water main to the meter, and then we have to do it, we're going to do that's task order 2, but we're also going to do a task order 2, phase 2, and that will be from the meter to the house. EPA come back with new guidelines, we have to change the meter. If I'm not mistaken, in that meeting we had the other day with MDE, we have to change all the service out to the brick or the block foundation of the house. So we will have to ask where we're going to do this, we have to ask everybody for a easement on their property so that we can get a licensed plumber to install to the house. Task order 3 will be the new 4th well for the town. And we still have a lot of areas of unknown where we would like to drill it. So we have a lot of more, pretty much field investigations where we need to put it. Where we would like to put it, there's another fairly large well close in proximity. So we have to get approval from NDE and talk with their board works on that one.
Project for me how long it would take to complete all of these tasks, to your best guess.
I'd say on these task order 3s, we would be looking into 26. we're gonna start task order 2. We're hoping, task order 1, you know, we're working on that. Task order 2, we should be somewhere, probably starting some of that probably after first of the year. William Street would be the first street to do because the state is breathing down our neck to want to pave the street. And we've been working with them, try to get them to hold up, to pave that street, so that way, you know, there's 87 services, I think, on that street. So we're trying to get them to hold up so they can pave it after we get done, pretty much butchered it all up, cutting it up, and try to replace these services. So we will start right from Town Hall here and go away to the Food Line Shopping Center, Bank of Ocean City, that intersection.
And when you say 26, you're talking about FY 26, which is calendar year 26 and 27.
Yes, yes, sir.
Just so that everybody's aware. The other end,
Calendar year 25, 26.
oh, thank you.
Yes.
I'm thinking late of the year 26.
So that would put us into FY 27.
Yes.
actually.
And that
Okay.
task number 1 and task number 2, they're relevant to each other. It's lead service. But the third one, it's part of the application, part of the process, but it's non-relevant to the lead service regulation. So task 3 could be in the later terms.
The other side of this is, and you touched on it, but I think a lot of people probably don't understand. Typically, projects would only go to the meter for the town.
Yes.
This grant takes it up to the foundation of the home, which is actually on the private side.
Yes, and that, we have to come up with a blanket, an easement
Right.
that covers the town, but also covers us, you know, covers everybody that's doing it. We were hesitant at first because when we were told, when we first applied, we only had to go to the meter, and then the second or third meeting, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, they were like, EPA come out with new guidelines, and we have to go to the, pretty much the footer of the house. It's not my decision. I don't want to go that far, but you know, EPA's kind of overruling us on all this right now.
Do you think that since the funding came out after that, that there will be enough funding to cover the projects that we want to cover?
MDE is fully aware and working with us to get that private side taken care of.
Yes.
The
So
cost
Dave
of the
Gaskell
private
is
side.
also, yeah, the cost as well as the legal aspects of it. Dave Gaskell is also looking at the easement aspect and believes that there is actually language in the town code that may already cover us. But
I was talking more dollars and cents. Like, I was more worried about how this might impact the plan of trying to replace stuff.
We've been to the state, and they're very well aware, and we spoke with Matthew last week, and I felt he would do everything in our favor to help us get more additional funding. A lot of this funding was made up all from the main to the meter. That's why we were planning on doing all state roads in town. We're going to start with William Street because that's the road they want to pave first, and then we're going to probably jump to Broad Street because that's the next road that we've been told they want to pave. And there's a few less services on that stretch of road too, but that's our goal.
Jamie, are you going to have to tear up any streets that were recently paved, really?
Unfortunately, yes, sir.
It's unfortunate.
it is unfortunate.
And this is where we're, and I'm not here to talk bad about people, but the right hand doesn't communicate with us because MDE's telling us one thing and the state highway just comes in and paves the street. So yes, North Main or Main Street 818 will be affected if we have enough funding. Right now they're pushed off because where it was just paved so recently. But we have, you know, that's,
You have to do the project.
yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for Jamie regarding motion 2024-53? If not, we'll open it up to public comment regarding motion 2024-53. Seeing none, we'll take action by the council.
I'll make a motion we approve 2024, is it 53?
I think so.
Yes.
Second. 2024, 53.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Nur, a second by Councilmember Green. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that motion 2024-53 passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Natalie. Up next is motion 2024-54, which is the Taylor House Museum 2025 events. And we have President Dr. Reed here with us this evening. And then Ivy, I'm sure you're going to fill in some aspects of this as well. Perfect. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Sure, absolutely. I'm here just to approve the events for Taylor House Museum, just the ones we need the permits for alcohol consumption. They're the same as we've done in the past. So we're just here to seek approval for that. And then also we've had a couple updates we wanted to let you all know, just so you can kind of get a handle on what's happening at the museum. We did the Runaway Bride movie this summer for the 25th anniversary, and it was hugely popular. We had such a outpouring of excitement that there was a movie back in Berlin. So we're in discussion with our boards to start doing movies again at the museum. So that's something that you're going to see going forward. So hopefully we're going to probably do 2 or 3 next summer during the next season. And then something really exciting, even this is a little bit farther out, the Taylor House Museum was approached by Salisbury University to be a regional partner for the 250th anniversary really of America in 2026.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're working with SU to do probably a whole year's worth of activities and events and things that will be different than what we've usually done in the past. Some new exhibits and things like that. They're really hoping, to involve a lot of sort of community groups. So, watch this space for that. So we're looking forward to that. And then one, on a sort of a personal note, I have to say a huge thank you. I know I'm a little late, this Beach Festival was in August, obviously. But we know that every year, because the event is so huge and it brings so many people to town, there's been an ongoing and important discussion about traffic and up and down Main Street. And because of the nature of the event and because it is Taylor House Museum's largest fundraiser by far, we feel strongly about not closing Main Street. But I have to say, we always have that, the event planning meeting that happens right before the event. And it was such a great team meeting. All the department heads, we all sat together in here and they really, whether it was Jamie or Jimmy Charles or Chief Downing or Tim Lawrence, we did a lot of problem solving with how to solve some things we could do without closing the street that would help alleviate the traffic. And it was just, it was really great to be part of a group of people that are just problem solving across the board. Didn't matter what their job was officially. They did a lot of problem solving and it made a big difference for us this year. And so I want to say thank you guys because we really appreciate everything you all do. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions for Ms. Reed?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I love your dress. I mean, it makes me think of let me finish. It reminds me of the tree in front of the museum. It's all as though, you know what I mean, you're bringing all those vibes and things to the table on top of all this exciting newness that the museum is going to be bringing not only to the museum but to Berlin with the collaboration with SU and whatnot.
Yeah,
and I will say that a lot of I feel like the dust has lifted off of the museum, the windows have opened, and it has become a more inviting, more inclusive facility, honoring and representing all of what Berlin is, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. Thanks. Well, it is our goal to tell
See,
stories
I'm
of Berlin.
dressed,
So
I was trying to
Matches her earrings.
Dr. Reed,
yes.
I would just like to thank you for the accolades you share about our staff. They are a fine bunch.
Absolutely. We were, like I said, it was one of the best things I've been involved in with the town. So it was great, that meeting.
Any other questions for?
I'll just throw a comment in too. I think the museum is such a jewel for the town of Berlin, really. I mean, it's I think it's been that way for a long time, but there's this new energy that is surrounding it, and your volunteerism and the paid staff, right?
Nottingham, yeah, makes it all work.
It's truly noticeable, in many ways. Obviously the Beach Festival is the hallmark event, and but I mean the concerts on the lawn where you have toddlers to 75-year-olds, kids running around on the lawn. I mean, it's a special place, and I'm really proud of what you guys have done. It's a great thing for the town of Berlin.
Well, thanks. And it's a whole team. Obviously, it takes a village to make all this work. So, we're working hard to make that village work.
You know, we could actually do a Hallmark movie. That's on Taylor House, Berlin.
Love it, the
Steve, I'd
Taylor.
like for you to
I will say, I know that it's been a little while, but the uplighting looks beautiful. Gentlemen, ladies, the uplighting looks beautiful. I'll leave it there.
I just wanted to do my annual, full disclosure, I'm on the board of directors of the Museum.
The lighting looks
Dr.
beautiful,
Reed.
Jeff.
And so I just want to say that I'm very excited for all these events, but I am particularly excited about the movies we're planning on bringing back to the lawn. I think it's a nice addition and hopefully we're all correct in an event that was held in the past that is missed and would be welcome back. So I'm looking forward to that.
Feature some local movies, like Ping Pong Summer and
Oh, yeah.
that Sky is Blue. What's this?
Oh, Violet Blue.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, yeah.
Well, we are having one October, second Sunday in October, we are going to do The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, so, yeah, 7 o'clock Sunday night, so come on out for that one. Nice and spooky enough, but not horribly scary. Thank you. Yep.
So we won't need an hour of cartoons afterward.
No, definitely not.
All right. Any comments from the public regarding motion 2024-54? All right, seeing none, we will take action by the council. So I have a motion to approve by Vice President Burrell,
Second.
a second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect the vote's unanimous and it passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, up next is agenda item 4C, motion 2024-55, and that's Berlin Chamber of Commerce events. And we have Cindy and then our new executive director. Do you want to introduce?
Yep, I'd like to introduce our new executive director for the Chamber, Rebecca Pavlovitz.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Mayor, pleasure.
Thank you. So go ahead and kick it off if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we are here to present dates for 2025 Berlin, Maryland's Chamber of Commerce events. The Spring Celebration, scheduled for Saturday, April 19th. Jazz and Blues, scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd. Rain Day, Saturday, May 10th. Spring Cruisers, Saturday, May 17th. Bathtub Races, June 20th. Music Concerts, Saturday, July 12th. Chili and Chili Peppers, Saturday, August 23rd. Small Town Event, Saturday, September 6th. Fiddler's Convention, Friday, September 19th and Saturday, September 20th. Rain dates, Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th. Fall Cruisers, Saturday, October 11th. And Town Event, Oktoberfest, October 18th from 11 to 4 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Yeah, I did have a question, just, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Back that we know each other, we're in school together, so welcome to the Berlin Chamber.
Thank you.
Just had a question, concern, and I understand, I believe the Chamber knows about the date changes that Ocean City did with cruising. You still feel like keeping the spring cruising event on the Saturday without cruising will still be enough of a draw?
We do. We've discussed it, and the Jazz and Blues Fest has always been the first weekend, and it's a continued event. People come to it. It's very solid and structured event, and that's why they felt we felt it's a change.
So I see that the Spring Celebration and Melissa, or the museum's pig roast are in conjunction. I don't remember if that was what happened this year. But I love that that's, yeah, you know what I mean, they're like intermingled. Yeah.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
Well, no, I like it.
No, we help each other,
I
yeah.
like the idea of that, and not saying that this is something you all need to do on a regular basis, but I like the concept of if we're going to have these closures and street event, or these events, that once in a while they could partner up and happen at the same time.
It's going to happen for Oktoberfest as well. I think your book festival, isn't it? Is that same day?
So I just had a couple of questions real quick on, Saturday, July 12th, it just has music concert, and Saturday, September 6th, a small town event, which I believe, well, doesn't matter. Are you just like starting to plan those? Is that why that's why it's kind of, okay. And then my other question was, I did send an email out. Your little asterisk denotes, alcohol denotes beer, wine, and liquor. And if I remember correctly, the council approved one event this year with liquor kind of as a trial run. So I just wanted to reach out to IB Chief and the Chamber. How did it go? Because I think we chose the longest event this year to see how it went. And I think it might help the group if we just got a little, if nothing happened, great.
Yeah, I think it's best to defer to Chief Arnold on that.
It was no issue.
Okay,
No issues at all.
great. I mean, I just wanted to follow up on it.
Were people receptive to it? Like-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was a popular thing. I didn't see any overuse. I didn't, we're very careful about, how we're doing that. Very, very good.
Can you describe for me, this is a new event, chili and chili peppers. Tell me what's going to happen.
Okay, so it was a new concept in theory of chili pepper contests have become very popular and people eating them. So we were thinking of doing not only the chili and chili competition of eating the peppers, but also perhaps incorporating chili, like when you think of chili, like a bowl of chili, and theming it that way.
Yeah. It's, who would have known, but it's a very popular thing in the country.
Yeah.
And so it's the right time of year.
Yeah.
When chilies are, harvested, and it's going to be fun. Actually, Toby had the idea to do this, Toby Gilbert. And he was also the one that came up with the wing contest at the small town block party, which was a hit. Everybody loved that too. So it's going to be fun, I think. Something new.
So it's gonna be a chili bake-off, cook-off to see whose chili's better?
So I don't think that.
I don't know if we have
Yeah,
the.
we
have
didn't work
to get-
out
we have to
those
get- we gotta-
details yet.
We gotta
Yeah.
look through the details,
Yeah.
but we have the overall.
But I think that that's kind of the idea, but then the chilies, that's going to be like.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting.
Well, see, I was thinking red hot chili peppers, that's what my head went. I wasn't even thinking how.
Well, I'll give them a
Well, I was gonna say, we'll see if they come play.
I thought you had a cover band coming.
Councilmember Nichols will reach out. Or contact. All right, any other questions for the chamber? Okay, we'll open it up to public comment regarding motion 2024-55. Seeing none, we'll take action by the council.
Motion to approve 2024-55.
So a motion by Councilmember Ward.
Second.
A second by Councilmember Nur. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous and everything passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you. You're doing a great job already. And I also have to say, I started September 11th, and everyone at this table, and some people who aren't even here, Fiddlers was my first event, and it was such a great collaborative effort and experience. So my gratitude to everyone and all of our teams. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Is the town going to be in the back versus?
What's that?
Is the town going to be in the back versus?
Are you going to learn about aerodynamics?
I lost
How about this option you guys on?
I lost weight, isn't that enough?
I wasn't worried about that. You were just very.
It's the only time in my life I'm tall.
Do you have
I told him
do you
that.
have riders? Do you have?
We have other
Create
departments.
a car?
We've got young people, we've got young people that work in electric, they can, yeah, well, we can
All right,
spare a
well,
lot.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I enjoyed it, Jack. We didn't practice here, but I'm open.
I can come there.
I am open, yes.
We need to be part of the-
Maybe a new
Yeah,
bathtub
new
design.
bathtub.
We'll have to mock that up. Thank you, David. Sorry for butchering your name.
And Tim, to use an old transformer as a bathtub.
Yeah, we need something that's fast.
It says transformers are too precious.
All
I don't
right.
know, the speed, the weight could really help with the,
And it was very troublesome to get in and out, wasn't it? Like,
That was very
that
difficult.
tube was.
Down the old one, we can take everything out.
The tube didn't work well for us. All right, up next, motion 4D, well, agenda item 4D, motion 2024-56, Town of Berlin 2025 events, and our Economic and Community Development Director, Ivy Wells, is going to run point.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am going to add on to the museums events and the chamber events with our annual Town of Berlin events. They are all the same as previously. I'll go through them. There's a couple of date changes. There was a typo error. Jimmy Charles just mentioned that. I'll go ahead and bring that up. Berlin Restaurant Week, which requires no town services, January 17th through the 23rd. The Berlin Little League Parade is April 12th. Take Pride in Berlin Week is April 21st through April 27th, and I believe that we're going to move cleanup day to the 12th. Is that correct?
Yes, because like last year with Easter falling on the 19th in that area, we would rather have the town clean for Easter than the week after Easter. And really, by the end of April, I'd be way behind in cleanup and planning, so that's why we should move it to the 12th.
That's a lot on the 12th, though.
That's a parade, the Berlin Little League parade.
It takes
30 minutes.
Yeah, we've done it on the same day.
It's the only, we're not gonna be able to have it on the 19th because it's Easter weekend.
I will say the challenge with that, yes, the parade's quick, but the actual ceremony and stuff like that do take a little bit longer, so just keep that in mind. It might impact some of your volunteers.
We could go to the, whatever, even 12/7 would be,
How do you,
fifth.
do you feel that we get, I mean, I've participated every year, but do you feel like we get a robust volunteer pool?
No.
I look around the room and I see a lot of people that are
2 years ago, we had a
volunteers.
lot of help, and then last year, we didn't have as much as help.
Yeah.
So I think it's a hit or miss. Weather was an issue last year too, they were going for everything.
Yeah, I'm not only
Is our
concerned with
labor-
the 12th, as many of your folks, even in the room, will be watching their child or grandchild or whatever.
If you go
in Little
past,
League Day.
yeah, if you go past opening day for Little League, then it's games, so you have the
Well,
same.
I will tell you, I am less likely to attend a whole bunch of games because I am just a grandparent, believe it.
My question
Because I will
is,
be opening, sorry.
is our labor helpful? I mean, I volunteered every year, so I'm wondering whether the work that we're putting in, is it helping or is it maybe causing a little bit more work? Because you get us all keyed up and ready to go, and then you all are there helping do the work, and then you have to come back and sometimes redo some of the work that we've already done. And what I'm wondering is if this is just a carry forward that we've done for a long time, and if it's actually working.
In a way,
Yes.
it doesn't help.
Yes,
It
it works.
used to get a very big and enthusiastic turnout, and that has dwindled, as with volunteerism everywhere.
I'm not saying anything negative about it, I'm just saying, is it maybe time to adjust course a little bit on that?
Right.
We have now we have the crewing and we have the knowledge in the crewing
Right.
to do a lot of this. And even like last year, spring was earlier, it seemed like we were waiting for the day of the event.
Yeah.
And then we didn't have the staff. So then we were kind of, and I don't want to, for me, I felt I was behind in the appearance of the town, and especially leading into Easter weekend. I'd rather actually have it done.
Would you be okay with us, like, doing away with that event? As far as the cleanup, and if folks want to volunteer, we have the horticulture team that could maybe help come up with some projects. We've got, and not them doing the work, but maybe we post, hey, look, this needs to be done, but it needs to be done by this point. If you want to volunteer, this is an area,
I would,
not a specific
I would
day.
say if we specified like to Henry Park and Stephen Decatur, and not try to do the War Memorial or the, maybe even the downtown pots, which I would actually wanted to have them done leading into the parade.
Even before the
Leading
parade,
into
yeah.
them type of activities. So we could just get back to, say, the park areas, that wouldn't affect as much.
What about adjusting course when we take Pride in Berlin Week and maybe not making it clean up,
Right.
but maybe coinciding it with the town's birthday, which is actually the last weekend in March. I think it's like the 31st. So then maybe we do something that's more community pride and less labor, because I think that's really where people are.
Right,
I like it, and this particular, it's, what is it, it's September, and so we have some time to kind of rework it, and then we can always follow up, if that's okay.
I think that's probably better. but
Yeah, and I'll work with
where do my
Sarah.
colleagues stand?
I think that it's a valid point, and I kind of like the community pride with the Berlin birthday.
Yeah, I do
That's-
too.
I think that's a logical.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, we all know, yard work, come on, you know. We all have our own yards too, you know, like I told my wife when we go to, help Jimmy out, you know. So.
I took my wife.
Yeah, I mean, I just think. I think it's reinventing it is good. It's kind of a poor look, when it's just the paid team members here volunteering their time, when it's just, weather maybe, but it's also busy.
I don't think they're volunteering their time.
But that's okay. That's
Some are.
Some are.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
some are.
if they have to be here, they're paid, but if they don't have to be here, they're not paid. It's
And
like
Some have to be volunteering.
Yeah, some
Really,
have to be.
and I mean, we work hard, but I think that we cause more trouble than we help. And Jimmy's shaking his head yes, but nicely, but.
There was a lot of prep work that kind of went, like, there was a lot of prep work to have mulch in every different areas, equipment, tools, and then it kind of, we just didn't have the turnout. And then it fell back to staff anyway.
It might be a fun thing to do during the workday and ask all of the Berlin staff, even if they're not typically working out in the field, like, hey, why don't we all
Do it
team
like
up
team
that
building.
day? Yeah, like, I mean, I think it'd be fun. That's fine.
That's a cute little day.
I'd like to get out of the office occasionally.
So the suggestion is to combine, or actually remove cleanup day, and then take Pride in Berlin. It can stay the same, but it's in March. Right.
Well, Take Pride in Berlin would be
Birthday.
retooled for the birthday.
Right.
And
Cleanup
striking cleanup day.
And honestly, if we gear it more towards birthdays, then maybe that would be a tad bit more justifiable for town staff to have a partial day to play a part in preparing our town for the birthday celebration, as we've done with the Christmas tree lighting and ...
We have to come up with a cool way for a cake, though. You can't have a birthday without a cake.
Jimmy will
I think
jump
we'll have we can have some new flags to sell by then.
Love it.
Garden flags.
I like the whole idea of
Yes,
making
that
it
was what
more
was
of
asked for,
a.
garden
Yes, I
flags.
know, I just wanted to make sure that we sold out of what we already have with big flags, but I think we should definitely do garden flags and pendant type flags for
Yeah.
the next
You
round.
know, you can also repurpose some of the big flags if we have any left, because I know some little boys who love capes. I'm just saying.
Well, we do have to keep some on hand. They're not like, we have to keep those on hand. because-
I'm
so I
saying
can-
sell them.
You can keep a lot of them on hand, but why don't you? Captain
You
Berlin,
can buy
I
one
would
for
never figure.
$30.
So,
Be Captain Berlin.
So March.
so you're okay with that change? Ivy, are you okay with that change?
Yeah, I very much like the idea of picking that week to be able to celebrate Berlin throughout the community as a birthday celebration. I really like that. We could work with the businesses about, Berlin birthday cupcakes and
Ooh.
Jack's favorite black and yellow.
Did we get finished with the list yet?
we did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we stopped there.
What's,
I will continue. Memorial Day at the Monument on Memorial Day, which is May 25th. Memorial Day Parade.
the 25th
Memorial
should
Day
be
at
a
the Monument
Sunday.
is the Sunday before Memorial Day. Memorial Day Parade is Monday, the 26th of May. Fireworks are July 3rd. The Runaway Bride Fun Run Walk, which is going to be called Runaway Bride Rerun on July 26th.
That's clever, okay.
National Night Out, August 5th. Back to School Movie Night at Henry Park, August 30th. Oktoberfest, October 18th. Truck and Treat for Tim, October 25th.
And the kids.
For Tim and the kid. Fall Glow Walk, November 7th. Ice Berlin and the tree lighting will be November 28th. The Christmas parade is December 4th. New Year's Eve is December 31st. And then the farmer's market. It says here May through September. We didn't want to commit to October for next year because we wanted to use this October as a litmus test.
Yeah.
And then with the option of extending it next year.
The other thing, because you'll put these on the rack card,
Oh, yeah.
can we do the tree arrival as well? Let's try to put that in ballpark when we want to do that.
Yeah.
For the Christmas tree. So I.
And then also with the success of the Tuesday farmer's market on Flower Street, we'll be adding that as well as a full-time for next
Ivy,
year.
I want to
Yeah.
ask you about Pumpkins in the Park. I know it's not on this, but it is an event coming up.
Mhm.
So I love the idea. I think it's a great idea. But we haven't seen anything on it, so.
So that's run by the Berlin Horticultural Advisory Committee, and I'm assisting with that.
Okay.
It just happened, when, last week, 2 weeks ago? They just, so it's a pumpkin carving contest, and,
But it's still a town event, right?
yes.
It's not an event that was approved last year.
Right, I realize
So-
that, but we haven't, the council hasn't approved it at all.
Right. It don't happen.
But is that something that will continue to happen?
I don't know, you should probably check with Jimmy on that one.
What do you mean, after this year?
You can tell me, you don't even know that.
Yeah.
After the one. Yeah. we have no idea.
I would say we would see how the first one turns out and see if the
Oh, I thought you
horticulture-
meant, do we need to get it, the one for this year approved?
Well, it should be, yes.
Yeah, it still needs to be approved.
Yeah. I'll defer to Jimmy. Like I said, they asked me for
We'll give it
assistance,
to the
and
horticulture committee. We'll get something in.
They just need to do
Yeah.
like the park, because it's in the park,
There are no
Right,
town
it's all-
services
No, you're saying
required
they're
that
not
I'm
requesting
aware of.
services they don't need.
but it's still all in the Stephen Decatur Park, right?
Correct,
And it's the use
after
of the
park
park.
hours.
Yeah. So it should
You
come
have a whole lot
up.
of things in the parks that go on that are not approved because it's open. So
But it's still an advertised event.
that's the whole difference. It's just something that you want to advertise.
Right.
Well, it's an advertised event.
It's
that
sponsored
would-
by the town.
Yeah, it should typically come this way.
it's
It's not
sponsored
sponsored
by
by the town.
it's sponsored by the board, Berlin
Private.
Horticultural
Which is
Advisory,
a town.
and then the town is assisting
But the
financially.
horticulture committee is a town
Yes,
committee.
yes.
So it needs to be approved by,
Yeah.
So we should
Well, it should have came here first.
Can I go ahead? We'll have them submit paperwork. How does that sound?
Paperwork submitted.
that works,
They did submit paperwork, they did.
We did not yet.
No.
that works, Jimmy.
But I think that if I can get the temperature of this group, moving forward, that should be the practice. Do you think you need to see that right now for this event that's
No.
coming through? I think get the paperwork done, but, so that we have it on file, but future events like that should come before the mayor and council.
And they
Is
should
that
be in the
okay?
town calendar.
Correct.
Yeah, the website.
When is this scheduled?
25th.
25th?
Friday night, October 25th,
I would suggest.
with the rain date of the
I would
7th.
suggest to maintain protocol, I would suggest that you submit the paperwork for council approval.
We'll have it by the next meeting.
Okay, that'll work.
So then, what? But then the protocol, doesn't that mean that they're behind by 30 days?
Yes.
So just turn it in before the 25th, which is a 2
We
day.
will have it in this week.
4:30, right?
I'm fine, personally.
Thank you.
So, my question, Ivy, a couple, was, are we doing Mary Marketplace again? Is-
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually not, it's not a town event. It's a partner event with the Mary Haven and another vendor.
Oh, okay.
Megan from June and Juice's mom is doing it.
So shouldn't that be on someone's calendar?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and submit paperwork for that. That, we were just in the beginning of stages of that.
And then,
I don't like paperwork.
this, I mean, I know that this is, I'm just asking this question. Trick or treating does not need to be on this.
No.
Everybody knows that's Halloween 5 to 7.
And it's not a town event.
It's not a
Just to
town event.
clarify, trick or treating
It's
is
not a town event.
you choose to give out candy,
Right.
you choose to take your children around and collect candy. It's
Right.
not a town event.
I'm just-
You can set your calendars to the
I'm just putting
emails
it
that
out
start to
there.
come in.
Yes.
Is this a town event? Are they making adjustments for weather? No. It is Halloween. Halloween is Halloween, and it is not a town
It is
event.
100% volunteer on both sides of the door.
And I-
Now, Chief, are you going to be checking candy, though? That is one thing to ask.
Yes, we'll have all the information out on our webpage and on town.
That's the only thing we do is check candy.
And I just
So
want
we
to just
do a
give,
little bit more, but.
Chief can tell you it's not quite as simple as
Chief
that.
crossing
but-
guard. And I just want to give kudos to that rack card that came out this year. Well, you know, it came
The
out for
mail,
events,
the
the mailer.
the postcard, yeah, that'll happen again.
That was awesome.
And I have a question about the alcohol events. I know the chamber does most of them, but I guess.
They do all of them.
Well, we have Oktoberfest, right?
Right, excuse me. They have a permit for all of them.
So it gets a little confusing because the events, whether it's the chamber, whatever, gets the alcohol permit, streets blocked off. But then some of the businesses that are selling alcohol, so you have the hotel and maybe a couple of the restaurants, the Globe, whatever, but they have to section off their place and provide private security. And yet people are confused by this, you know, hey, I'm part of the event, but I'm buying alcohol here, but I can't go in the street. Sometimes they get through, I don't know, it gets very confusing. Why can't it be made in such a way where that wouldn't have to happen, that they could participate?
There is a possibility that that could happen, but each entity would have to apply for its own alcohol permit in order for them to leave the premises.
And be part of the event.
It can't be.
Correct. So the event works, the chamber purchases alcohol in advance from Berlin Beer Company. And it's the chamber selling alcohol at these events.
I get that.
And they're pulling their event permit.
Sure.
Each business has to have their own permit to take anything off their property. And that is, we want to almost say virtually impossible. It's not an easy thing.
So you're saying that if the town's doing Oktoberfest, or the chamber or whatever, they have the permit to allow alcohol in the street, that each business would not be able to get a permit?
They're allowed to have the chamber's alcohol on the street itself, and the boundaries itself.
If a business applied for a permit for that event day, would they be able to?
April would
That's
answer.
what I thought I just said.
And they choose not to because of issues with their actual license. Most of the businesses tread not to because it becomes an issue.
So that was really interesting, doing a small town block party, because I was thinking that too. The Atlantic Hotel must have applied for a permit because you could take alcohol after 1 o'clock off their premises. Because I was told to drink at Merle.
They have no permit. They don't need one. They're grandfathered. So they are the anomaly.
Okay, but that's really the only one.
Liquor laws are very complex.
So the Globe cannot, Sisters cannot, the Atlantic Hotel, because they are grandfathered, they can have alcohol taken off their premises.
So during the bathtub races, the Atlantic Hotel was not allowed to
Yeah,
have
they were shut down.
alcohol.
No,
Also.
they had people telling them not to. We ask them not to. We tell them not to. Because the individuals, if they come off the premises, they can be fined the $25 or whatever the fee is for having alcohol on the streets.
It's very gray.
It's not gray, it's clear.
It doesn't seem to be.
Right now, you are not allowed to have alcohol on the streets. So anyone who walks down with alcohol on the street will be fined.
Correct.
Right now, period, no question. When you have an event, it's not an alcohol event, anyone who walks in the street will get fined.
The bathtub races are not an alcohol event.
Oh, clear.
It's not clear to me. It's not clear to me.
Well, where's the question?
Yeah.
The question is,
No.
Each business knows.
Hold on, 1 second. Stop. Take it for what the chief is saying. Go ahead, start it from the top again.
Again, each licensee is totally different than each other. So the permit allows them to do certain things. None of them have permits to take alcohol off their premises.
Except for
Atlantic Hotel.
That's
And
Only
the
for
difference
alcohol.
is that on any day and during any event that is non-alcohol related, the law applies that you can't what?
You can't walk in the street with my public.
And then the only area where I think you might be thinking is gray is when we allow alcohol in that section of the street. How do you handle that event?
Well, again, we try to work with Atlantic Hotel, and they go ahead and put up signs to people and advise them not to take alcohol off their premises to the best they can.
Is that just to create consistency so that everybody thinks, hey, look, I don't leave an establishment with alcohol because that's how everybody else is, and it helps you with enforcement?
Definitely.
Okay.
Plus the other events which are non-alcohol, which again, on our whole curtilage, in that area, in fenced-in area, they can have alcohol. And they do for Christmas parade for sure, which is not a non-alcohol event.
I'm just trying to help the group.
Yeah,
So, is that?
yeah, I'm just asking about the alcohol events. We'll talk about Oktoberfest. Alcohol on the street, someone buys a drink at the Atlantic Hotel, you just said their grandfather, so they could walk out in the street.
They could.
But you ask them not to?
If they're Yes, we either ask them to go ahead and they have the bar outside.
Yeah,
They'll go ahead and have signs, no alcohol beyond this point.
but they don't have to.
Atlantic Hotel does not have to, but I don't think there's a concern. The concern is the Globe,
Gotcha.
Sisters, and all the other places that you feel need to come outside, and
Their permit doesn't allow.
doesn't allow it. And I think Globe did it once, and it does not benefit them to have their alcohol walk out the door. Why would you go ahead and have someone drinking at your bar walk out with a drink?
For sure.
He's not gonna buy the second one if it's not designed. Or
A lot of stuff in the street.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Any other questions
Yeah,
for
well,
Ivan?
just one more and then I'm done with
For
this.
the chief or
So
Ivan?
who, for the chief, for I guess anybody, so who has determined that the hotel is grandfathered in? Is that the county?
The liquor board, they control all of it.
I'm so sorry, I asked. All right, so, okay.
Yes.
That's the liquor board.
Your big brother
Not us.
decided it.
Okay, any other questions for Ivy? Phew. Any other events you wish to discuss that are town related?
That is all I have.
I just
I
love that we
just
all
need to
learn
say
something new every time we're sitting here.
I just need to say something. We, I said we are to keep in protocol as to related to the event. Jimmy is gonna present the paperwork, and the paperwork Ivy is gonna permit. Because we have not approved events that are not on these lists. So to be consistent with going forward and what we have done, we need those events approved and on the list.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding motion 2024-56? Okay, let's open it up to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address the mayor and council regarding motion 2024-56? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
A motion to approve by Vice President Burrell, a second by Councilmember Orris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous and everything passes. Thank you. All right, let's see. Up next is agenda item 4E, motion 2024-57, Haley Architecture's feasibility study for the community center project. And it has myself and Danielle running point. I'm going to turn it over to Danielle, actually.
This is the exciting stuff. I don't know, I enjoyed that conversation. I learned a lot too.
Dean thought I was going to sit down out front
You can
for
be
eye
there.
contact. That hasn't happened
At the community
in 8
center.
years.
We're glad we can help you determine where to drink.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Danielle. We appreciate it. You got here bright and early, and you were an hour and
That's
10
okay.
minutes. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff. I'm here presenting the proposal for the feasibility study phase of the community center project. This was, as you recall, the RFP that came out a little while ago. We're really excited to be working on this project. It's a great asset, going to be a great asset to the town. I think that the news maybe picked it up today, I heard. So I'm excited. We'll have to watch that later. I think that's airing tonight.
I think maybe tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Originally, they wanted it.
Judging by the interviewee, I think it'll be tomorrow.
Okay, great, yeah. So, I mean, just excited that there's already some press around it and hopefully keep that momentum going. I have for you tonight the proposal, and I worked with Mary and Sarah on some of the language because this will be paid for, I think, out of the CDBG grant funds. So I think we're hopefully on the same page.
Yes, so thankfully, I think, we can't say this enough, but the feasibility stage, this project, motion 2024-57, that portion is funded using CDBG funds. There are some town funds that'll be used, but not much, right? Because our grant is for 100.
100,000.
That's what I thought. So very good work, Danielle, very good work, Sarah and Mary on the grant to help get the funding for that. So this does not erode the principle that we have off to the side for the community center, which is huge. So, all right.
If you had me in 250, you had me in grand fund.
Any questions for Danielle or for Mary or Sarah about the grant?
Tell the public all about the grant, Sarah, and how great it is, because, I mean, I think it's great. I'm a bit biased here.
I would love the opportunity to tell everybody how great the CDBG grant is. It was really an amazing experience because it is a community development block grant. The whole application process really requires community input, and I loved the aspects of it where we were meeting with people. You all helped me spread the word and get people to sign a petition around Memorial Day when we had the parade on Flower Street. There's a lot of community buy-in. We did make the application for $500,000, which is on the upper limits of what the CDBG grants are. I think the max is $800,000. So we were kind of testing the upper limits, and I'm really relieved that we were able to receive this first $100,000 because I think we can do it in bite-sized chunks that will be more manageable both for staff and for the project moving forward. So I'm thrilled that we got the funding and that we get to work with Danielle and that every step forward is a step in the right direction for the new community center. Thank you.
Can I piggyback off what you stated? I will say hearing you state that community involvement was a huge part of this grant process is paramount for the community to know that they have already started to play a part in the funding process for this community center happening. So it's not like this isn't something that they're already vested in, because their signings, their petition signings or what have you has already played a part. But not only that, later this summer when we were at MML, and I stopped by the booth where these folks are located, they're like, oh, Berlin, come here, let me just tell you. You have received your grant. I can't tell you anything, but you guys are great. Thank you. And that's what they were, our name, Berlin, and the information in regards to this grant process was known. And that's exciting to hear that the state knows that we exist and what we're working on. And they were very happy to quietly say that there was some money coming our way, but they couldn't tell us.
It is really exciting, and I want to take the opportunity right now to remind everyone and to remind you all, please to remind constituents that the community survey is still open and it's available on our website, and the more input we receive, the better off we'll be able to do the work. People can really go on and give us their feedback and insight about which amenities would be most useful and what they're really hoping to see and use from the community center. So it's a Survey Monkey. The link is on the website under berlinmd.gov/community.
And that goes to the 4th, right?
Yes,
Well, it's going to stay live longer.
It might stay live longer. We tried to give it a 1 month.
Because we want to get Danielle to work. So the survey results will be consolidated by Beacon, and then they're going to be turned over to Danielle and her team to say, let's make this into fruition, so that we actually then have something that we can start to say, start to rattle some chains for construction money.
Right, and so the survey will just be a piece of the feasibility study. The feasibility study, will start to be informed by the survey, but we're also going to hold community meetings, some bigger ones, probably 2 bigger ones where we invite anyone and everyone to come, similar to the initial one that you did at the library. But we're really going to try to use some of that information and start to direct the train on the tracks so that we have sort of a roadmap to lead us to an ultimate scope, which gives us the size, the budget, and things like that.
And I think, I don't mean to cut you off,
Sure.
but I think we might have mentioned it last time. It worked from the strategic plan. It worked really well to have different locations and different times. And I think just keep that in the back of
No,
your
I
head.
think that's good feedback. And
that's-
like I said, we'll have 2 probably larger events, and then we'll have a smaller committee, put together. There already is a committee that meets. And so again, just the idea is to try to get these ideas to sort of a really clear, defined path forward that maybe has phases and has budget numbers attached to it and sizes attached to it, so that we can keep the momentum going.
I like that. Any questions for Danielle regarding motion 2024-57?
I love seeing you come to the building. It brings so much joy to me to know that some kind of life is coming, be it to this building or to the project that we're working on as far as the community center. So yeah, when I see you, I get excited.
Thank you. I get excited when I see you guys too.
Anything else for Danielle? All right, we'll open it up to the public. Any public comment regarding motion 2024-57? All right, seeing none, we'll take action by the council.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Councilmember Green.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that motion 2024-57 passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very
Before you
much.
run off, hold on a second. So you brought up the interview, and I was asked a question this evening before we went into executive. This is a great new idea for Berlin.
What is?
And I said, talking about the community center, I said, well, this is not a new idea. This is over 20-something years in the making, so this is a long overdue idea for Berlin.
Amen.
With that, Sarah, do you want to talk just briefly where we stand with the federal earmark and what that could end up being for us?
Sure.
Go ahead, give your another moment.
Let's take this and say, we applied for a federal earmark funding this year, and we were approved for $479,000 towards the community center, but we won't know for sure that money is coming through until the budget is passed.
Federal
budget
budget.
in December, I believe.
Thereabouts.
Wow. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Theoretically.
Coin toss.
TBD. So
Depends
we
on
made it,
2040.
this was not the first time that Berlin has submitted earmark funding requests before, but this is the farthest we've ever made it in the process. So just keep hoping for the best.
Nope, good things for the community center.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Danielle.
Mayor, are we looking at demoing the multi-purpose building soon?
No, not soon, but that would be involved within the demo as well as in our grant application for the $500,000 that we wanted for the CDBG grant. We had a tabletop what that would look like, right? So that would be moving shore up to Snow Hill for a period of time while that demolition takes place, and then bringing the classrooms and stuff back.
Yeah, and I think from a design perspective, it makes sense to try to get a little farther on planning before we start taking things away.
We want that to be, that interruption in service to be as
Correct.
minimal as possible.
We want all the ducks in a row so that they don't end up stuck in Snow Hill.
Hill,
for
yeah.
longer.
Yeah, that's a lot for local people.
And the families. I mean,
Yeah, and the field.
so, thank you, Daniel. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you all.
Yes. All right, up next is agenda item 4F, motion 2024-58, Henry Park Playground, large play unit replacement. And Kate Dowd, our special events coordinator, and Jimmy Charles, our public works director. I'm sorry, what did I say? Events. It's that night, you know? This afternoon, this afternoon I was sitting there in my office at the university, and I was like, I'm gonna make another cup of coffee. And then I talked myself into decaf because I was like, it's gonna be a short meeting. I want to go back to sleep. And so it was warm. And so I made a warm cup of decaf, and I should have opted for a half cap. So my apologies, Kate.
Okay. So I suppose I'll take it away. So as you are aware, back in August of 2023, we applied for a community parks and playgrounds grant funding in the amount of $216,000. The application is not included in the packet, but the proposal, I'll back up. We consulted with Brian Lewis from Cunningham Recreation at the time we were gathering the materials for the application. And that is what you'll see included in the council packet along with the staff report, which is a cost estimate and proposal for game time playground equipment to replace the large playground unit at Henry Park. Of course, staff report will go into a little bit more detail, but typically projects like this does move forward through a request RFP process. But given the relationship with Cunningham Recreation and the projects that we have pursued in the past that have utilized the cooperative purchasing organization that Cunningham is a vendor of, we are requesting your approval to move forward with this project bypassing the RFP process. to award the playground replacement project to Cunningham in an amount not to exceed the $240,000.
Thank you. Any questions for Kate?
I think we should also note that 90% of it is CP&P funds and 10% are local funds.
Community Parks and Playgrounds.
So, yeah, so that's good. And also a timeline? After approval?
ASAP.
My goal is National Night Out. I want to have new playground equipment in for National Night Out.
I think at this point of the year,
I would
it
too.
depends on the contractor's availability, if they can move before it gets too cold, and I don't know how much impact temperature has on these kinds of
And
things.
they install.
But that could have an impact.
They install, or do we?
They do
They do.
everything.
They do.
I thought you said she was in the demo and They remove the old and install the new.
Okay.
So important to note, I think the discount on the pay drip for the rendering, that's part of that transaction agreement with Omni, I'm guessing, right? So it's up
And
20%.
I should mention too, given the timeline from when we originally applied for the grant funding, Cunningham did update their quote for the project. So what you see here is the updated quote from last week. So this is update funding.
And the numbers were close, right?
Very close.
So it's rare for us to get awarded a project where the numbers aren't exorbitant the next.
Yeah, it's
like-
one of the problems with this grant process, because it is such a lengthy process, that usually by the time we get the funding, the pricing is no longer good.
So now with that, we talked a little bit about this offline, to try and get the colors as close as we can to the basketball courts, if possible.
Yes.
Just so that everything kind of matches. Any other questions for Kate or for Jimmy?
The only one I see on here that I think is a little dangerous, and I'm hoping it's just there for a picture's sake, is that little spinny triangle tree-looking thing.
Spinny triangle.
This.
Down there. Those things are.
Oh, those?
Are.
That looks fun.
They are hands on this.
But I mean, yeah.
We used to have the carousel, and now kids don't have that luxury.
And
Remember
less cats,
the-
fewer casts. Because
You remember?
fewer concussions because of
Taking the fun away, man.
Hey, you hold on for your life.
I tried it recently with my kids and I was like, okay, I'm
You
just
were
staying
drunk.
on my adult stuff.
I'll tell you, the one you need to try is over on 3rd Street
Oh,
in
yeah.
Ocean City. And you can actually sit down in that one, you can get it. I'm not helping my case here, but you can get it spinning.
That thing or your thing.
Yeah.
40.
Try swinging on a swing as an adult, that'll throw you off.
So are we saying no to that, Councilmember Nichols?
No, all I'm saying is I don't think that part's gonna be in there. At least I'm hoping that little piece won't be in
We
there.
can talk to it.
What about instead, what about changing it out? They have the ones that you can hold on to that kind of go up a little bit and they spin around? And where it's like 5 to 12. Where it's 5 to 12, you do have to kind of hop, and by that point,
Here, let me help you get it. No.
I don't either, but if Councilmember Nichols doesn't, are we opting?
It's negotiable. That doesn't have to be, yeah.
Okay.
I don't wanna slow up the process because I want this playground yesterday.
Right.
But I don't wanna
I
slow
want
it
the
up.
spinning thing.
So the spinning thing, the up-down part, which in City Habit, it's
94?
It's heavier than the normal, so it's really hard to actually go.
Oh, good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It gives momentum though.
We'll go to Thursday.
Let's go.
We'll get Kate to try it out.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, can we, any other questions for Kate? All right, seeing none, any comments from the public regarding motion 2024-58? Seeing none, we'll take action by the council.
Motion to approve 2024-58.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Nura, second by Councilmember Orris. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Let the record reflect the vote's unanimous and passes. Thank you. Up next is 4G, motion 2024-59, and that's recommendations for appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. That's myself running point on that. If you look at page 64 of the packet, you'll see a list of folks that we'd like to have nominated, and that's for horticulture. I'll work down the list. Georgiana McElroy, she's a reappointment. Jamie, I'll going to butcher that. Sarah, can you help me with the last name? Jamie?
It's Manaya, I think.
Thank you. That's a new appointment. And then Victoria Spice and Andrea Weed would be reappointments. And then for Parks Commission, we have Corey Davis, a new appointment, and Michelle Gillespie would be a new appointment. YUC, term to be determined. The Parks Commission actually is one of our interesting boards or commissions that has a term of 1 year and 2 years. So we've asked the candidates which one they would like. If they both are interested in 2 years, Sarah's going to draw their name out of a hat. And one of them will be, the winner will be 2, the other one will be a 1-year term. So with that, I'll take any questions from the council.
Well, I have a quick question, but it's not related to this, so I can wait until we finish this.
Okay, yes, please.
And make a motion.
I love the
I want to do
background.
public comment.
Oh, yes, public comment regarding the nominations. Seeing none, Councilmember Ward?
Oh, I'm going to make a motion to approve the 2024-59 mayor's recommendations for board and commissions.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Morris,
Second.
second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous and motion 2024-59 passes. Thank you, Sarah.
So my question
Yes,
was,
go ahead.
last meeting, when it came up with committees, I believe the town administrator had mentioned that it is preferred that only, that people are on multiple committees.
Correct.
So are there currently folks on multiple committees, and have they been contacted to move around, or are we just letting it kind of?
There are, as a rule of thumb, when Sarah and I are looking at the list and makeup of our boards, commissions, and committees, we don't generally put people on 2 of them. However, there have been a few instances where folks have either been on 2 historically, and we have not removed them, or we have had some that have started in one place knowing that they want to get to another, and that has led them to be on 2. Usually what we're trying to do is let them kind of work themselves out on their own, and we really do not try to
Yeah, I'm not trying to kick
more than
anyone
one.
off, I'm just seeing how.
There are
that work
3.
out.
There are 3 of them. 3 of them that I know of.
I believe her.
3.
Okay.
So, and 1 is resolving itself. 2 more. Well, 2 more, it's just kind of been how it's always been, and we haven't changed it.
That was all. Just
Makes sense?
Quick follow.
But while we're talking about boards, commissions, and committees, you want to talk about the change with B3, just publicly?
Oh, yeah, I also, bedtime situation, I'm going to go.
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry. I got it.
It's
Go
totally
ahead.
fine. It's so great that you mentioned last time about having a drop-down, so we're able to add a second. If you're interested in serving on more than one committee, there's a second drop-down section, and then there's also an open comments box where you could describe your interest at length, so that you don't feel restricted to only applying for one position, since there are often multiple vacancies on multiple positions.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, good night.
See you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for getting the extra drop down.
So, all right. Any other questions about that? We good? Okay. Up next is agenda item 5, which is a discussion regarding Maryland Municipal Electric Utility Alliance, MMEUA, participation and objectives. So in the packet, I'm not going to belabor it, we can all read, page 68, 67, let's see, 66, 67, 68, and 69. You will see, and 70, you will see a draft of the Articles of Incorporation for the Maryland Municipal Electric Utility Alliance. Mary, Tim, and I sat in on a meeting with the other electric utilities that we organized here at Town Hall. They consist of the Town of Berlin, Easton Utilities, City of Hagerstown, Thermont Electric, and Williamsport Electric. To get ourselves together, we are the 5 municipal electric utilities, and trying to get us all together under one group so that when we're advocating for things like what we did with the RPS legislation a couple of sessions ago, that we speak with one voice. So with that, this kind of kicks off the formal alliance. There are ways that the members are articulated, there are ways that the officers are appointed, bylaws are adopted, and what we're really asking is if there's any comment on this, and if not, in this format, as long as there aren't any true material changes, we'd like a recommendation to approve this so that we can get it in place for the legislative session.
I mean, I think it's great. I think it's an awesome way to share some community. I guess my only question is, like, where does it live? Like, where it's all 5, but where does it? If somebody has a question of the 5, who would do they call us? Are we like housing this?
We are not administering this.
Okay.
There's a description of officers and how the 5 communities will assign that
So the
function.
board.
Yeah.
Right.
But the town is not administering this. We are a member of, well, we would like to be a member of this.
In terms of the 5 electric companies, where does Berlin fall? Smallest, largest, middle of the road?
Middle of the road. Wouldn't you agree?
Around the middle.
What was the large?
That would probably be Easton or Hagerstown, I would imagine. Number 2.
And who was the small?
That would probably be Williamsport.
And they're very different. So our electric utility is different than even Easton's, and they all vary. I think we are the only peak shaving plant, aren't we?
Us and Easton.
They do peak shaving as well?
Well, they don't do peak shaving, they do demand response.
Right. So, I mean, we all have our intricacies, but I think by and large, when we're looking at the legislature, which is really where this is going to have some substance, we're usually positioned on the same side of a lot of issues. So it will help us. We always go in partnership with Easton predominantly on the services of Brett, which is the lobbyist that we use. We've been a funder in that since the RPS legislation that we were successful with. So this would be something that coincides with that.
Main reason I look at it as a plus for the town is when the Public Service Commission makes rulings, it doesn't affect just Berlin, it affects every electric utility in the state of Maryland. So, you know, as we go up and, you know, lobby with the Public Service Commission as just the town of Berlin, we're just talking for ourselves as a small community. When we go together as an alliance, it's all of us together. So it's a louder voice. It gives us maybe a little more, you know, influence on the rulings and that type of thing.
I think there are aspects as well that municipal electric utilities have that are different from the larger investor-owned utilities that don't always get recognized. So
That's
this
correct.
will also assist with that.
When we go up to the Public Service Commission each December, Natalie, Mary, myself, Tim, like we all spent more time explaining who we are to the Public Service Commission because we're in the magnitude of everything that takes place electric-wise in the state of Maryland. We're small people. So, but they don't realize that oftentimes we have to explain that our customer is the ratepayer, it's the taxpayer, it's the citizen of Berlin. It's not some for-profit company with a board of directors.
We're having to fund some of the same projects that publicly traded companies are funding. And there's a big difference.
So I think this has a lot of upside for Berlin. We participate, albeit we don't have this agreement in place, but we do participate in a lot of the things that are outlined here. It just kind of formalizes that process. We participate in legislative calls. We work closely with each one of these electric utilities, whether it's boots on the ground with Tim or whether it's from a legislative perspective with the work that we do in Annapolis. So.
Great idea.
It's not mine, it was a collective group. Tim actually started the conversation with his experience from Manassas. He was familiar with a structure like this. I think Easton ended up pulling the substance of the agreement from Florida, I believe.
So, Florida.
And then we really, during the MACO conference, we got everybody together and worked through making this our own with the goal of trying to get it approved by all 5 of the municipalities by the end of October so that we're well positioned for the legislative session.
did Dave Haskell put together the articles, or?
Nope, so this was collected between Easton, the town of Berlin, and then all of us in the room together going over.
So it's a discussion, but I mean, I
We-
support consensus to
we-
move forward.
We would take a vote.
Oh,
if
then
everybody's open.
I'll make a motion to approve the Articles of Incorporation of the Maryland Municipal Electric Utility Alliance of the 5 municipalities.
Thank you. We got a motion by Councilmember Morris,
Second.
second by Councilmember Green. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the town's commitment to the Maryland Municipal Electric Utility Alliance passes unanimously. Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to try that. Not tonight. Not tonight. All right. So up next is the town administrator's report and departmentals.
The only thing really that I have that isn't on some of the other departments, well, is that I'm announcing that Natalie has been selected to serve on the GFOA steering committee, which is, GFOA is a national organization of government finance officers, so that is quite an honor.
Way to go, Natalie. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Actually, I will add one more thing since Jamie did step out, although it's really Councilmember Orrs who spearheaded it, but the stormwater meeting that was held on September 12th went very well. It had a good turnout. I think there was a lot of good conversation and good information.
Good job.
Thank you. Good job. You want a round of applause?
No.
Why are you
Well, I will piggyback on it though, because so everybody, I want to thank everybody who attended and helped organize and got it together. It was a great discussion, and just for those hearing or listening out there in Facebook land, I did compile just a summary email and send it off and to staff and the group, and we're just going to take that and keep going. So,
And with that, Councilmember Orris has agreed with our strategic plan. Everybody's committed to certain topics. Councilmember Orris is committed to helping spearhead the stormwater component of the strategic plan. So thank you.
Any more complaints, they'll go to the mayor. No, I'm kidding.
No, I was clear during the meeting where the complaints should go.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to take it on.
Thank you.
So I see in Jimmy's report for Public Works, the demolition project at Herring Park is completed. It's exciting. Thank you for all the work for us to cleaning up the very unsightly side of Ocean City Boulevard, removing the graffiti and the spray paint. So thank you. That's a huge improvement and something I looked at for many, many years. So very grateful for that work. And,
We've also added blocks now.
Yeah.
We purchased blocks. Yeah, so they're there, they're in place.
The bollards aren't in yet, are they?
Some of them are.
Some of them?
The blocks, the
Yes, all the flowers are.
things.
Oh, they are? Okay.
So no vehicle can go back into that area right now.
And when we're talking about that, that's in between the buildings or behind where the fence used to be?
Correct. We put 3 where the fence is, and then we have a solid block between the 2 buildings that was demolished, and the gate out front is locked with a combination code.
Right, and the police department has that combination.
And the blocks that were purchased, when we no longer require them for that purpose, can be repurposed for other things. So, yeah.
It is,
Right.
it is a very good job, and the cleanup really looks neat and in order. It really looked like time was put in, actually policing the area and making sure things are left properly. Good job.
Steve, Jeanette, how do you feel about it?
We went in and put some boards over the windows that were broke. Some of the doors we restructured and added more bracing so they're not going to be easily kicked in. Did some more painting and even clean. And then we did even attention to detail, the policing of out front, grass cutting and the weeds and all that around the fences and all that. So we definitely made a bigger point to address that now that the demolition crew is out of there.
Yeah, you asked it. I think securing the site was a priority for the town of Berlin, and I think that has been done now. And, it was kind of open game, unfortunately, but now I think that's taken care of. And I guess we move forward with the direction that the state of the council, and look forward to hearing about that soon.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think it looks great. I mean,
Well,
it is
the
neat
reason
and
I asked you
exciting.
to agree with me, because I know that the biggest concern you had when we talked about going this route was the condition or the state, before we even started, what that would look like. You know what I mean? Did you say post-war war?
I thought it was like a bomb zone.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the most beautiful property in the town of Berlin, but
it's not as bad as
right.
what we thought it was,
Yeah,
or what you thought.
exactly.
And it's really, the new wall that they put up there, I think looks great. The taking down of the graffiti was awesome. I mean, it looks really good. And I'm, like Councilmember Green brushed on, I'm just really looking forward to keep going on as we've decided to go and see what comes next.
I think that we should stress that this is a short-term solution.
Yeah.
It's, we utilized the grant the way that we said we would utilize the grant. It's better, but has much room for improvement.
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry that we were not able to do more.
but we didn't give money back. Well, maybe a little bit.
We're still working on it.
Okay, so we have not given money back yet. But we're working creatively, but I think if it does, it's going to be minimal.
Not buy a gallon of paint or something.
We're trying. All right, any other questions for Mary or the departmentals? Okay, let's move on to public comment. Anyone from, well, I have a lot of public left.
Nice sort of game, Mary.
Mary Lusky, would you like to say anything to the mayor and council?
Game's tied.
Thank you.
One of the two games are tied.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Do you care to report out on the rest, too? Okay, all right, any comments from the council? We'll start with Vice President Burrell.
I just had a concern from a property owner on Hudson Street. He lives at the end to the left-hand side. Jerome Wharton. He shares a ditch with the Franklin Avenue Medical Complex, and there's a property owner in front of him that has a responsibility of ditch maintenance, and his concern is that he is keeping his side of the ditch all nice and trimmed and all that kind of stuff. He is calling on his neighbors to do the same. He said when he sets on his step, he cannot see 113 because of how high the grass is related to another property owner's ditch maintenance. So if we could encourage those folks to do their job as he has done, I think he'll be a happy camper. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Kern?
Yep, just two things. Again, big congratulations to Natalie.
Thank you.
on getting appointed. Number two, I also want to thank Tim for organizing a ride with some of the town employees and other friends. We got to ride down the boardwalk with our motorcycles. That was a lot of fun, so thanks for doing that, Tim. Jimmy Charles was there.
On his scalp? Indian? He's an Indian. You're a scout? He's not. He's a Harley Davidson. I just
Yamaha.
Suzuki. Honda.
Suzuki. We got a cool picture somewhere. We should,
Don't make him say.
No, it looked good. Jimmy said something about it. I said, make sure you guys take a picture. So.
Well, he sent the picture of Kate and I with no explanation. It's just
Oh.
a picture of all them
Oh.
on their bikes. And we're like,
I didn't say something to Jimmy. I didn't say it to anybody else.
So
So
what
it was
did
a
he
working
say?
progress. Our photographer had we were training him in photo.
He was down.
It was funny, we were like, cool, have fun. You guys are good.
Sorry, I didn't pass that along to both of you, or to
It took a
Sarah.
little while, but we got there.
Jimmy, you said it was gonna be on Facebook, right?
It was.
Yeah.
They shared it.
I missed it. They shared it.
Oh, it was, they really doctored that up. We brought you from
That was Jack's graphic design team. All right, we've got Katie. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Councilmember Nichols.
A few things.
No, I'm still recovering. It wasn't. I'm sorry.
Don't hear real quick. First off, ladies and gentlemen, crazy, stupid, excited friends.
Sorry.
Bring it back around. Join me, come back to me here. Crazy excited.
Yes, it was.
Crazy excited about tomorrow, the pop-up farmers market. I'm excited for Cross Farms and our community being able to have access to the produce on a Tuesday, where many were not able to participate with farmers market hours on Sundays for whatever reasons, and then with the location being close enough for many who have a struggle with driving across the highway and whatever, those things. But being able to have that available for folks with WIC vouchers and for the SNAPS vouchers is huge. My daughter said it best the other day when we were riding by, and she's 25, a nurse, and her thing was, she said, this right here can make a huge change in some people's lives. Being able to have access to the fresh produce and whatnot right here in their neighborhood, this is huge. And to hear that from, not just because she's young, but just to hear that from someone who passing by and seeing the sign, that's great, it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday's pop-up produce, even though it's during my work hours. I know that a lot of folks, Burrell and others, will take advantage of those hours because they are, right, because they either work within or they're retired and they can do those things.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good with that.
I have to apologize because I didn't turn in event paperwork for that event.
Uh-oh.
It was a quick,
And
it was a quick
Truly
turnover, and the vouchers have to be used by mid-November, and there was no,
Yeah.
so I apologize for not turning that paperwork in for that.
I think it's just us putting it in our brains of, hey, look, even though it's our entity and we're doing it, we should follow the same rules.
Yes, sir.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just a change in process of making ourselves accountable to the same things that we ask other people to be accountable.
It's a possibility to file an extension.
I think it's
with the
fine.
state.
It's fine,
But
but
as far
in the
as those
future,
vouchers
moving
go, I don't
forward,
think you can file extensions.
It's
on
the
vouchers.
individual person voucher to buy, yeah.
I did want to say the sign looks great.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger next time, because I think it is a little hard to read some of the details when you're going by. But
It was
just
a rush.
No, I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm saying when this is successful,
For sure.
maybe next season we do something a
It'll
little
be
bit.
a street banner.
Yep, maybe something a little bit bigger to be able to see and read the details.
Well, just the backstory, they do, Cross Farms does, for some of their for some of their clients right now, they were doing deliveries. So for some of those folks that they've been delivering for, being able to be a little bit closer would allow the person to come out and pick up or do whatever. Yeah, have a say in the produce they chose, not that they were getting anything that wasn't quality anyway. Yeah. So I'm not done, but give me a second. So I want to clap Jack on the back and say, round of applause to Jack, because this week was that whole receive your certificate for completing the fellow program with MML graduation. Yay, congratulations, you received, woo-hoo.
Did you get a
I couldn't make it.
Fellow.
I couldn't make the ceremony, they're going to mail the certificate.
So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
And just again, to everybody out there, I know that we've got less than 2 weeks or thereabout before our municipal elections. I don't want people in our town, not because it's my year or whatever, but I don't want people in our town to overlook our municipal elections due to the national elections, because on a day-to-day, on a real-world basis, not that that doesn't matter, but when it comes to your everyday, this matters equally, if not a little bit more, because this is what affects your town functions, the way your community runs and whatnot. So please, oh please, oh please, take the time on October 1st to step out into those voting polls between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. and do your civic duty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Ward?
Yes, well, congratulations, Natalie. Again, that's awesome. And just two other things. I was wondering, do you maintain on our town website, there's the accolades section for the, do you do that? Okay. So I'm throwing this out here. I mean, we get a lot of awards, which is great for various things. And I see that they're on the website sometimes. So I was also wondering, and there may be, and I just didn't see it, is there a place like in the visitor center where that's kind of like everything's listed in a way?
It's framed.
Okay, and then, I guess I missed it. But then who does that on the social media, on our website side?
I think it's a carry forward of something.
It's the kind of page that we remember to update it.
All right.
We typically send out an email to all the departments.
Yeah, we do get a lot of accolades, and I think
Yes,
show
we
up on
do,
social
and
media.
it has not been updated.
Okay, so I'm throwing that out there.
Our website as a whole needs some attention.
Yeah. And I just wanted to throw this out here, something I actually forgot, so I'm kicking myself, but September is actually also Emergency Preparedness Month nationally, and so I just want to put a reminder out to folks that we are in hurricane season as well, so check your kits and with your family, your evac plans, and all that good stuff. And that's all. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I took a lot of time last time, so I'll just pass it. I will say thank you to the town for addressing my concern I raised 2 weeks ago with the porta potty. I woke up Saturday morning and it was not there, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one more thing.
It was coming. Go ahead, Vice President Burrell.
In the agreement, the Maryland Municipal Electric Utility Alliance.
Yes.
Membership calls for each member to select up to 30 representatives. I would be honored to be one of those representatives representing the town of Berlin.
Thank you.
You have a motion?
Well, what we were really thinking is we'll take some council participation on there as well. But really, Tim and Mary were going to be some primaries. But we are welcome to have some additional as well. So if there's somebody else that's interested, we can take up to 2. But we.
I'll just start. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tim doesn't realize it yet, but we're going to nominate him for one of those officer positions. So, all right. Let's go on to comments from the mayor. I'd like to say, Councilmember Orris, you've done a great job with the stormwater meeting. If you haven't signed up for something for the strategic plan, I know some of you have, but if you haven't, staff, whoever, we do have quite a bit to accomplish, and we have our 6-month checkup that's getting closer and closer. So we've made some strides in getting set up. Now we got to get it across the finish line so that we don't lose sight of that. So just keep that in the back of our minds. Outside of that, we'll move it to comments from the press, but I don't see any. And then Vice President Burrell, you're up. And so a motion by Vice President Burrell, and second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zach, Mayor, can you sign this?
Yes, please. Thank you.